WBAY TV, your first alert station. Action 2 News This Morning live stream starts now.
Hey there, good Tuesday morning and welcome to our Action 2 News This Morning live stream, our post show that we like to call it, where we kind of just debrief a little bit more. I'm Tammy Elliott.
And I'm Emerson Lehman. Great to have you with us. And as Tammy said, for the next few minutes, we'll just be taking a deeper dive into the stories that are taking place around northeastern Wisconsin today, and starting with the deadly bar fire trial that we've been first alerting you to all week and last week as well.
Yeah, we've been talking about this. Anthony Gonzalez faces 7 charges in connection to that fire in Sturgeon Bay. It includes 2 counts of second-degree reckless homicide.
And we are joined now by Emily Roberts, who's live outside the Door County Courthouse this morning. Emily, what's expected to happen today in court?
Tammy, Emerson, the juries are continuing to deliberate this morning when they come back in, and they could end up deciding whether Gonzalez is guilty or not guilty at some point today. Deliberations did start yesterday. The jurors deliberated for nearly an hour before going home. So today that's resuming, and as I said, there could be a verdict if they reach a unanimous decision coming up pretty shortly here. Yesterday they also heard the closing arguments from both sides. So they heard from the defense arguing that there wasn't a thorough enough investigation, especially regarding building codes. And then they also heard from the prosecution saying that Gonzalez was exhibiting really reckless behavior. So jurors are just hearing from both sides and considering that today when they're discussing and making their decisions.
All right, Emily, thank you. We'll continue following that, of course, and alert you as soon as a verdict comes in. We all have our Action 2 News crew in court this morning. Thanks, Em. All right, we're going to turn now to a discussion from our First Alert Safety Desk with Aisha.
That's right. There's a new report coming out that parents and educators want to be paying attention to hate crimes in schools, right,
Yeah,
Aisha?
and we've heard a lot of reports about hate crimes in the country, just in general, but this is the first time they're doing it in schools, and this is from anywhere between elementary schools all the way up to the college level. It's really interesting stuff. It goes between 2018 and 2022, and I should mention it's the FBI, Department of Justice. Again, they've never done this report, so I thought it was pretty interesting. And so just talking a little bit about the data here, if we can, of all the hate crimes in the U.S. in 2022, 10% happened at schools is what they found. And it makes it the third most common location for them. So the most common spots are on the street or in a home. And the report says most offenses involve things like intimidation, vandalism, assault. It says those offenses are mostly motivated by black bias, followed by anti-Semitism and anti-LGBTQ bias. There's a lot more that goes into this. Hate crimes based on religion were the second most frequently reported offense. And with this report, it's talking about Jewish people who are targeted the most is what they found. So there's a lot of information. And I, of course, wanted to know why are they doing this. So I looked into that, and they basically want to take all of this information, collect it, and then put that information out there to the right people that maybe could help prevent this, because it is a big deal. And the fact that it's happening, you know, in elementary all the way up to college.
So it's a wide range of people that are being impacted by that.
Exactly. So we do have the full report. I've been kind of scanning through it. There's a lot of information, but our awesome web team, WBAY.com, they have a link so you can take a look for yourself if you want to.
Okay, and then the other thing that you were covering this morning was a recall that came out on a medication, right?
Yeah, ADHD medication. So if you or somebody you know, I know a lot of people who take ADHD medication, so this is a really important recall. Basically what happened, it was a mix-up. Another medication got into an ADHD medication, so they don't want to take the risk, basically, of course, because there could be different symptoms. So this is the Azurity pharmaceutical. So they recalled a bunch of them, the ADHD medication. It's also for narcolepsy is what I was looking for. So that's what it looks like right here on the screen. Zenzetti is what's being recalled. So the one that was mixed up into these pill bottles was an antihistamine. So of course you could experience things like drowsiness, basically not a stimulant like you'd want. So it's an antihistamine. It's doing the opposite thing of what you would want. So it's dangerous if you take this thinking you're taking something for ADHD, right? And you're driving and you've taken something that makes you super drowsy. That's dangerous.
And it reminds you that if you're taking a medication and it feels different than what it normally should, or even if you just start taking it and you're just questioning it, you know, you should call your doctor.
Totally. And if you want to know the lot number, it's right there on your screen, 5230169A. And I go through it pretty quickly because that's also on WBAY.com. The expiration date is June of 2025, so important stuff this morning.
Always important information. We appreciate you joining
Of
us over here
course.
to talk about it. Now we're going to check in with Steve, who is got a guest over with him today, talking about the weather.
Yeah.
Frosty is in the sauna, Steve. He is hot over there.
Woo! Getting hot out there, Frosty, huh? Panting, sweating. Make sure you double up on your deodorant there, dude. Why? Why has it been so warm this winter? It has been a winter like none other around here in Northeast Wisconsin. So we are on pace for this to be the warmest winter on record. Now, since December 1st, and that's when meteorologists start considering winter, December, January, February, not necessarily at the solstice. Our average temperature in Green Bay has been 29.2 degrees. That is going to blow our record out of the water if we continue on this pace, 27.7 degrees Fahrenheit. So I don't see this warm winter letting up anytime soon. Look at our high temperature forecast all the way through Monday. Highs not far from 40 degrees. Now 25 is average, so a lot of our high temperatures will be about 15 degrees warmer than normal, and even beyond the next 7 days. Our 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, this takes you out to February 12th, a high probability of warmer than normal weather. So the big reason why is because of El Nino. El Nino is the warming of the equatorial waters off the Pacific Ocean, and it causes the jet stream to flow through persistent ways across North America. Now, the subtropical jet stream down towards the Gulf Coast, that's where all the stormy weather is gone. But the polar jet stream has been staying way up into northern Canada, diving down towards New England, and that has bottled up a lot of the Arctic air way to our north. We're kind of in between those jet stream flows with milder than normal weather and drier than normal weather, so the big reason why it's been so warm this winter has been El Nino.
I'm just fascinated by the fact that the way it's, like you said, Steve, it's just bottled up in the northern part and then all kept down to this, like the people that really enjoy those mild winters are looking for those mild winters. You're going to want to enjoy it this year, right?
Yeah, try to get out and enjoy it as much as you can because the snowpack continues to dwindle. The ice thickness is probably going to be small enough where the inland lakes are going to be unstable. And, usually when the weather happens, it's not because of one solitary reason. There's usually multiple reasons on why something happens, like why it's been so warm this winter. Well, El Nino has been the primary reason. There has been a smaller secondary reason, and that is climate change. We've been talking a lot about climate change for the past few years. It continues to be an issue, not just here in Green Bay, but worldwide. If you look at the coldest temperature that we normally get in the winter, from 1970 to now, that coldest temperature has climbed by 7.5 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're having these shorter-lived, less intense Arctic intrusions, which really don't allow us to build good ice thickness for those outdoor enthusiasts that Emerson is talking about, and the snowpack doesn't stick around. We have drizzle and mist on this January morning here on First Alert Viper Max. Normally we would have some snowflakes. There might be a few snowflakes out there, but most of today's light precipitation is coming down as light rain. And after that, your First Alert 7-day forecast looks dry, and we might get some patchy sun mixed in with those clouds. But look at those highs, guys.
Wow.
Right around 40 or so, all the way into early next week.
Yeah, Aisha was saying she saw Ginger Z on GMA was calling it Springuary. Because just the unusual, it feels like spring almost, right?
There is somebody who sent me a Facebook message, and she taps maple trees.
Okay.
And normally that's something you do in March. She's like, should I get started on this? Wow. She doesn't want to get started too soon because if we get a blast of Arctic air, then it freezes up where they tap. They want that freeze-thaw. Well, guess what? Even though it's late January, going in early February, I guess it's time to start tapping for maple syrup. It's been a weird season.
It is really nice to see some sunshine on the 7 day behind
the
scenes.
Yes, that is good.
We're waiting for that.
We need that sun, yeah. So thanks, Steve, and we're continuing to talk about this. It's another issue because with all the melting snow out there, that's all happening right now. It's kind of creating another issue.
Yeah, you got your driveways and your sidewalks outside, and as those snowbanks are melting, the water that's on the driveways and the walkways, that can refreeze overnight. We're joined by Kristen Allen, who's live this morning in Green Bay. And Kristen, how many fall-related calls did the Green Bay Fire Department respond to last year?
So last year, the Green Bay Metro Fire Department responded to over 2,500 calls for falls, and that's out of nearly 17,000 calls total. So a pretty good number of calls there, and those calls for falls are happening all throughout the year, but they can peak after we see some big doses of winter weather.
And you're out there kind of giving us a demonstration. What can you do to prevent falling?
Well, falls happen, like we said, indoors, outdoors, all year long. And I think sometimes right now it can be a little bit deceiving because it is warmer outside, so you think everything's melting and maybe the pavement is just wet, but there can still be some icy spots that creep up there. And so I know that you've all seen these big snow piles like this one around town. They are getting much, much smaller, and they're shrinking and they're melting, but with that melting, it has to go somewhere. So we are on the edge of a parking lot here, and it might be a little bit difficult to see here on the camera, but there is a coating of ice right here on the pavement, and if you're not paying attention, you know, it could just sneak up on you. So you can see that there is actually ice that is right here, and if you're not paying attention, of course, that is the perfect recipe for having a fall.
And Kristen, you can try and prevent everything, do all you can to prevent a fall, but if you do happen to fall, what should you do?
Yeah, you want to try to just be aware, first of all, that there could be some icy patches still outside. Another thing to do is make sure that you have the proper footwear. Of course, sometimes we have our favorite shoes and we get in the habit of wearing them over and over again. But if you do that, the treads can become worn and then maybe not provide enough traction. Of course, if we're having a big snowstorm, you know, one thing, of course, sometimes easier said than done is try to stay home. But if you do have necessary errands to run, especially if you're an older adult, you may want to try to enlist a family member or friend to go with you. Have your phone on you in case you do fall and you need to call for help. And then another thing, when I was speaking with the fire department, is they said if you do fall, don't try to rush and get up right away. Some people want to do that, but they said to just take a minute, you know, make sure that you can wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. They said sometimes people get up and then they realize, oh, maybe they broke their ankle or something and then can't really move. So you want to make sure that you're okay to get up before you rush and do that.
Yeah, good reminders, Kristen. And I wanted to bring up something that Catherine mentioned when we were talking with her with traffic, is to make sure you don't have your hands full. I do this coming into work. You know, I've got bags and then I've got my coffee and my water. So I've been trying to not have, to have my hands free in case I would fall. So don't want that to happen, but just another good tip.
Yeah, super important.
Yeah.
All right, Kristen, thank you. And speaking of the walkways and the driveways kind of freezing over with the melting, that can happen to the roads as well. We want to check in with Catherine. Not too much going on, thankfully, today, Catherine.
Yeah, a lot of areas are just wet this morning and they're starting to dry out as kind of the mist and drizzle moves through different areas. But we want to look here at the Oshkosh area, I-41 at the Highway 45 interchange. This is just north of Oshkosh proper. And you can kind of see the dampness on the pavement there. Farther south, it really is mostly just damp and wet. But the DOT is talking about farther north, some slippery stretches up Highway 8, say, or if you're going up toward the Michigan border. And remember, untreated roads, back roads, those could have slippery spots as well, not just the main highways. But farther south sounds like just going to deal with a little bit of wet and gray, which is not too different from what we've had, guys.
And look at that overview shot and the lack of snow in it. I mean, that really gives you that view of all the melting that's happening.
Yeah, I mean, we were looking at overpasses like that. You can still see kind of just a little thin line of snow there, but we were looking at the snow just really encroaching on those lanes of traffic after that big storm we had. But as T's been talking about, it is just really melted away.
Well, we appreciate you checking in, and we know you'll keep following that throughout the morning. So thanks, Catherine. And, you know, I think the lack of sun, we've kind of, I don't know, I've been feeling like I need a vacation. I need to get somewhere with some sunshine. I don't know. It's just the feeling.
It's a good day to think about it.
It is.
And that's for a reason, too, because it's National Plan for Vacation Day. I think we can all celebrate that a little bit, right? It's the last Tuesday in January, designed to help you plan in advance for the whole year. So not just now, the whole year. Vacations help you spend some quality time with family and friends. It also helps with mental health. Take advantage of off-peak travel seasons. Opt for bucket list destinations or you can even try staycations and just relax at home.
Yeah, I was reading that a lot of people, like 50% of people don't use their vacation time. So they were trying to
It's
like
there for a
encourage
reason,
this.
right? You got to use it.
Yeah, it's important to do that.
And
so
we've got a list on here. This is so we had, during our show, we had kind of the local, or not local, but the national
US,
throughout
right,
the U.S.
right.
These are some more worldwide.
Can't
As
see
we're looking at our screen. Looks like Paris
I can
is
see
on
Paris.
there.
I can't see anything
Bora
else.
Bora, I'm testing my eyesight
Ooh,
right now.
I'll let you do that.
Glacier National Park, there we
Oh,
go.
Nice.
All-inclusive water. Okay.
So, Rome.
Yep, Rome's on there.
So I've been to Rome for work, not for
I have
pleasure,
not
but
left the U.S.
Oh, okay. Well,
and I
you
feel
should.
like I need to.
You
There's
gotta
some.
put that on your bucket
Yep.
list.
Maui's
Look at all
on
those-
there.
oh, yeah.
London.
And you know what? One of the things too about planning, that I was reading a little bit about this. You can tell I want to go on a vacation. They were saying that just even planning for it helps your mental health.
Sure.
And kind of, it gives you something to look forward to, and just, that whole
Anticipation,
thought process.
excited for it and
Exactly.
whatnot.
I have an app on my phone when we have vacation, and I do like a
Do the
countdown.
countdown?
Yeah, I just love it. I'm kind of vacation minded around this time of year.
I'm escaping to the mountains over the weekend.
Oh,
and I'm
nice.
looking, yeah,
That's
so
right.
I
Yes.
planned it ahead of plan for vacation day.
Your
but
countdown's coming up
it's
quickly.
it's coming quick. Yeah.
And that's your Christmas with your family,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We obviously working in the news. Sometimes we have to work the holidays or whatnot, and I've got family kind of sprinkled throughout the country. So
Yeah.
we all get to go visit my brother out in Colorado and do
Nice.
some skiing and snowboarding.
That'll be
a fun
fun.
vacation.
That'll
so
be great.
Not quite the beach and sunshine
Hey,
that I know
that's
you.
okay.
I know you like
I
those,
know.
but
I feel like that's kind of my thing. But everybody has their, wherever they like to go.
just
And
got to go have some
that's
fun.
cool. All right.
Going to be a good time.
Well, it's been great chatting with you here, and our team behind the scenes is going to get ready for the on-air update. Catherine and Steve, the update during Good Morning America.
That's right. We'll give you the bird's eye view that we know a lot of people really enjoy this. So we enjoy giving it to you as well. Thanks so much for joining us for the live stream and you can watch that cut in again coming up over the air or right here on WBAY.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.